Well, the trial of Jimmy Lai, a Catholic pro-democracy advocate currently in prison in Hong Kong, is set to resume on Thursday. 5 years ago yesterday, he was arrested on charges of violating a Beijing-backed national security law. Lai was charged with collusion with foreign forces and conspiracy to defraud. He was granted bail the following day. In December 2020, that bail was revoked and he was placed back in jail. Sources report Lai has been subjected to prolonged solitary confinement with no natural light. He also has not been provided access to the Eucharist. For more, we turn to Gordon Chang, Senior Fellow at the Gateshead Institute and author of The Coming Collapse of China. Gordon, great to have you back. First, do we know anything more about the condition or the health of Jimmy Lai at this point?
Jimmy Lai is 77. He's afflicted with a number of diseases, and he's in poor health. And the important point here is that for China, they certainly don't want him to die in custody because he would become even more of a martyr. But they have made it very clear that they are going to deny him medical assistance. And so this has really become a question of inhumane treatment for many reasons. But denying him medical care of the type that he needs, that's really important.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, his national security trial is set to resume on Thursday in Hong Kong. So what comes next in this case and what are you expecting?
What's really interesting, Tara, about this is that China has been slow walking this trial. Now, he has been convicted on 4 trumped-up charges on minor things, but this is the main case against him. And as you know, you pointed out, this has now been going on since December of 2020. And I think it's because Beijing has demanded that he be tried, and they've demanded that the Hong Kong government take a hardline attitude. But people in Beijing and people in Hong Kong certainly know that this is the wrong way to go about it. And so I think that there is a paralysis in the decision making. But whatever it is, Tara, this is really interesting that they are not coming to a decision because they've been trying to delay this trial, and now they're trying to delay the end of it, and I'm sure they're going to delay a verdict.
Take us back to August of 2020. What led to Jimmy Lai's arrest? Can you go through that again? And what do you make of the international response to the charges and this trial? Is enough being done on behalf of Jimmy Lai?
Well, in 2019, there were the protests, and these unnerved Beijing. And so what we saw in June of 2020, China demanded and actually enacted its national security law, which it imposed on Hong Kong. This was draconian. This was essentially the end of law in Hong Kong. And so they decided that they were going to go after a number of what they call insurrectionists. But clearly people who were just merely advocating for a better Hong Kong. Jimmy was one of them. He was the most high profile because he was the publisher of Apple Daily, the most popular publication in Hong Kong. And they wanted to make an example of him. And so Beijing demanded this national security charge against Jimmy.
Wow. Quickly, we're curious, what other stories are you following at this point?
Well, the interesting thing going on in Beijing right now is turmoil in the leadership. People are saying that Xi Jinping has lost control or lost influence. Other people say that he is as strong as ever, but we are seeing signs of instability. And this is affecting all sorts of decisions that Beijing is making. And it's, I think, causing paralysis in the regime.
Well, Gordon Chang, Senior Fellow at the Gateshead Institute, certainly will be following the case of Jimmy Lai and others. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tara.